All right, last experiment, escape from Ice Mountain. So the idea behind this experiment is we are going to imagine that some really bad guys trapped our favorite superheroes in a big mountain of ice. And it is our jobs to save the superheroes. So, in order to prep for this experiment, what you will have to do is get some sort of container. Now, you can use an ice cube tray, you can use a Pyrex dish, you can use pretty much anything you want. You're going to fill it with water. Then you are going to, hopefully in your house, if you have some superhero figures, you are going to submerge them in the water, which means you're going to put them in the water and kind of make sure that they sink a little bit. If they float, it's okay, but we're going to try and get them to be at different levels. Then you are going to take that container or that ice cube tray, put it in your freezer. You are going to leave it in your freezer until it is frozen. Then your mission starts. Your job is to save those superheroes that are now trapped in ice. So I had already done the first part of the experiment, and I took a Pyrex container, filled it with water, and I submerged, who's in there? Batman, Wonder Woman, and I think the Hulk is in there too. He's at the bottom. So depending on the container you use, you might be able to take the actual block of ice out. With the Pyrex, you can't, so you're going to have to do this experiment out of that container. Ice cube trays, you can remove the ice. Even like a plastic Ziploc container, you might be able to maneuver it enough so that it comes out. But however you do it, as long as your superheroes are trapped in here, it should be fine. So your job is to use your super brains. Remember those things inside your head that make you really smart? You have to figure out, how are you going to get these superheroes out of this ice? It's a thinking activity. It's an exploring activity. It's a creativity activity. And there are many, many, many different ways that you could get this to melt and for your superheroes to escape, because that is the idea. We want this ice to melt. Right now, the ice is very cold. The ice is frozen. It's solid. We want it to get warmer. So different ways that you can make ice warmer and make that ice melt. That's what you have to think about. You could put it in the sun. You could use salt. Salt melts ice. You could use warm water. You could use something to chisel away at it. You could use like a spoon. Or if you have, maybe you could work with mommy or daddy and use a hammer. Or different things like that. You have to think, what can I do that will make this ice melt? Now, I have a couple of these things here. Now, mine is not going to completely melt because this is a quick little lesson in video. And I really want you guys to think about different ways to make your ice melt. And if I give you all the answers, it won't be a full learning experience, because if we were in the classroom, we would have frozen our own containers, and then I would have put a whole bunch of materials on the table, and we would have just sat at the tables until we could figure out ways to make that ice melt. And it might be things that we have to try something and then stop and then come back later, or maybe we let it sit for a day and we come back the next hippo or owl class and we see if anything's changed, if we left it in the sun, if we did this, we did that. So that's what I want you guys to do. This is not going to be something that boom, 1, 2, 3, your superheroes are free. You have to think. You have to use your brains. You have to use the materials. Look around your house. Look in your refrigerator. I mean, not in your refrigerator, your kitchen. And think about, what materials in my house do I have that could help me free these superheroes? For example, I have salt, and I will tell you, enough salt will start to melt ice. So if you pour some salt on it, it might help the ice to melt a little bit. Now, will it melt right away? No. But if you left it on, maybe in a little while when you came back to check, maybe some of the ice would be gone and your superheroes will start breaking free. Do you hear that? Little cracks. What the salt is doing is it's heating up the ice, and that salt is making the ice start to crack, which means when you hear those cracks, something is happening. So have patience. Take your time. This is what we call thinking activity, a STEM activity. Different things may have different results. So you have to try all kinds of things. If you have magnifying glass, look with your magnifying glass. See if you can see those cracks. If you have little droppers, you can put in drops of hot or warm water. If it's hot, make sure mommy and daddy are helping you, because we don't want any accidents. But I have some warm water here, so I could pour that in. And that might help melt the ice. And look at that. It's starting to bubble, which means the ice has broken and that warm water is going inside it. So something is definitely happening. So take your time with this activity. Really, really think. Be creative. Figure out different ways. And when you figure out your way of how to break your superhero out of Ice Mountain, let me know. Because maybe it's something I didn't even think about. And you guys could teach me. And that would just make my day. That would make me so happy if you came up with a way that really works. And I would just be so proud of you guys. So have fun. Be creative, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I hope you've enjoyed being superheroes. And again, I hope that you're thanking our everyday heroes that are all around us: nurses, doctors, first responders, policemen, firemen, people in the grocery store, pharmacists. Look at that, it's bubbling. Everybody around you that's doing their job to keep us safe, and especially your parents. Make sure you say thank you to them because they are doing one of the most important jobs in the world, and that's taking care of you guys and making sure that you are growing up into the best people possible. So again, give them big hugs, and I hope you guys are having a great time at home and you're learning and you're just really excited for what's coming up next. All right, we will see you next week. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see what comes up after that. All right, see ya.